everyone, and welcome to the Spiritual Insight Show. I am Reverend Tiffany White, Sage Woman, and this show is brought to you today by TruePsychicsNetwork.com, TPN TV. So, sorry, I was getting a little message here. If you're watching this via Ustream, it says, watch this on our new player or try now. I'm going to try it. So it's one of the things in producing your own show. So we'll see. So they have a new player. Now, if you're watching it from the Ustream, the True Psychics Network channel on Ustream, so hey, it's pretty nice. You should try it. Click on it if it asks if you want to see the new the new TV or the new streamer. Go for it. Oh, very nice. Okay, so that's what that looks like. Just to let you know. Welcome, everyone. Oh, again, this has just been a beautiful, beautiful, and slow maybe start to spring, but it really has its own time. Doesn't need us human beings to tell it when to start. Nature knows what to do, doesn't she? So, all right. Just winding down for a few minutes here. I had the dogs outside a little bit ago before the show, and it's cloudy here. I'm in Connecticut, southeastern Connecticut. It's cloudy, and the wind is blowing, and it's just you just stand out there, and you get wind blown, but it's on the verge of raining. I can smell it and feel it, and it's like, okay, so got the mountain in at a good time. So anyway, all right. I didn't have a show last week because I actually had to take care of some, home stuff, some domesticated stuff. Well, actually, I just had to go take one of our vehicles, for repairs. So, yoo-hoo! Life happens whether you're ready for it or not, right? Here we go. All right, so I also want to just type real quick here, just in the chat. If you're watching this live, you get the opportunity to chat. If you're going into the Ustream, on the right-hand side, you're going to see a box, and it has 3 tabs: videos, social stream, and chat. Click on the chat tab, and you will be able to chat with the others. With everyone else. I'm in chat. You'll be able to chat with everyone else as well. All right. And so just want to put a couple of links in here real quick. My link person hasn't been around in a while, so it's okay. I got this. So anyway, I'm just putting some links for those that are in the chat to see. My website is whitesagewoman.com, and also True Psychics Network website as well, because I'm going to be referring to it. So I'm going to be referring to it several times within the next 5 minutes. Sorry, I just felt I felt spirit moving in. And it was like, okay. So how was everyone's Easter and Passover celebration? The Passover, they're still having their celebration until next Saturday. You believe 7 days, Saturday to Saturday, last Saturday to this Saturday, and but in the Easter. And I'm telling you, are you noticing more and more spirit activity? And I say the veil is an illusion. We've been trained not to see this veil. Some of us. But I'm telling you, it is just getting, not that, like I said, not that it's really there, but it's getting thinner and thinner and thinner. This film, or this, the only thing that separates us is our belief, is what we perceive it to be, so to speak. So I am finding, though, that the worlds are just more and more coming together, let's say, like merging, because it is really all one, especially those that see on different levels. We still consider it a oneness, but it's in different levels, and this is the whole kind of thing too, the going through. So we are aren't we? You know, getting more increased activity. And I know that I have had a lot of relatives, especially with Easter. And so it was really nice to be able to share that with the family and, you know, tell, oh, you know, Nana's here, so-and-so's here. And so, and so that it's nice to be able to share that and with the rest of the family, even that they know anyway, but it's just, it's nice to have that validation. You know, somebody has to speak up and be the crazy lady. Or be the crazy person that says what everyone else won't say. Yeah, that's me. In the family. But I find, and this is kind of ironic and funny though, my sons out in public are the same way. So I kind of laugh and giggle when I catch them fight. Go see them at work, or you know, see what they're doing, see how they're doing, and I like I'm spying on them. They work at a public grocery store, but you know, if I'm walking up and they don't see, or you know, just in conversation with others, you know, and they'll tell me, and I just giggle because I'm just like, oh, yeah. So see, they are using their abilities, they're using their gifts, they're accessing it. It's cute. Our kids do that though, right? You don't want to show off in front of mom and dad, or you don't want to use it in front of mom and dad, and you do it out in public or whatever, and just until it becomes a problem. Like if you have a hard time, if you're younger and in school, and you know, teachers and students are alienating you and telling you not to say certain things, maybe you shouldn't do that. So, but it's as long, hopefully, that everyone can talk to each other now, and I find that we are doing that. More and more parents are becoming really opening up and spiritual, and so they can help their gifted kids as well, right? And so we're closer to God when we're younger, so because they haven't been brainwashed yet. So, and that's the truth. So they always say that animals and small children can see spirit. It's absolutely true. And so I do believe to like 8 or 10, it depends. And in psychology, like with training kids, because I homeschool my children, and I did a lot of research and a lot of studying with this, because I had to learn how to teach the left brain child and the right brain child, because I had one of each. And it was actually quite interesting. They said that morals are set by age 10. So I kind of giggled going, is it moral set, or are they brainwashed just complete by age 10? So it'll stick by 10. So anyway, you know, whose morals do you want your children to have? Children, grandchildren. So I know a lot of us too are big influence in grandkids. And some people may be raising your grandchildren or nieces and nephews or whatever, or families, right? The family aspect. Okay, so I've just really kind of gotten off a little. I'm just going wherever guides are going. Okay, can we come back here now? No. All right, so I always like to start the show with the numerology. Yeah, and I can definitely feel this energy today. The numerology for the day, and we take today's complete date, and in numerology we take it down to a single digit between 1 and 9. Okay, so today's complete date is April 7th, 2015. So we know April's the number 4, today is the number 7, and 2015 is a number 8 vibration year. If you were to add the 2015 up, 2 plus 0 is 2, 2 plus 1 is 3, and then the 3 plus 5 is 8. So this is where we get the 8 vibration year. Year! So we add that all together. 4 plus 7 plus 8 is 19. And then 1 plus 9 is 10. 1 plus 0 is 1. Or if you went to with 19, what's that rule of 9? Just drop the 9. 1. There you go. So today is a very high energetic type of day, no matter what the weather's doing. The energy is very spun up and high. It's very favorable for you today to start a new project, because this is the beginning of a cycle. Number 1. The cycle's 1 through 9. 9 is completion. 9 days from now, you'll be completing another cycle. So within each cycle, I'd like to complete a project. Sometimes projects take longer than 9 days, so do it in a chunk of, okay, I know that the energies today is favorable for starting something new, so I'm going to do that. Even if it's something that you put aside, pull it back out. You're making it anew when you make changes and by completing it. So it's a day of beginnings, a day of changes, a day to put new ideas into action and begin working on the things that you've been putting off. All right, so you can get these things you've been putting off started and completed hopefully by your in 9 days by that cycle, because it's going to be favorable for you. And there is a strong possibility of meeting somebody new today, and that can just be whether it's in any area of your life, it's just meeting somebody new. But I feel like if it's important enough for this information to come forward, then that means that it's somebody that's going to be significant for you, whether it's a friendship, whether it's work, whether it's just even something that you need within this the next what am I hearing? 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks. It can be very profound. It can be a friendship. It can be somebody who's going to help you move. It could be somebody who has connections that you need. It's these type of connections, and we're all here to help each other. So we have to remember that even for ourselves, that there are people in place that can help us. We just have to trust and allow them. So follow that instinct, follow that gut too, though, if it's right. Sometimes, though, those that don't trust just block everyone out, even the help. All right. Independence is very important to you today. Independence. So you may want to do things on your own and on your own 2 feet today, which is great. It's great to get some activities done that's just solo, and that's fine too. The energy support it. Now, that doesn't mean this is how your day is going to go. No, it's just showing you what energies are favorable and the energies that you can tap into. All right, and utilize. They're there. We just need to access it and utilize it. All right, so speaking of daily numerology, in the TPN, the True Psychics Network magazine, online magazine, there is a post by Jane Alton. She posts from time to time her daily numerology as well, and she gives a beautiful message each day in accordance to the feel and the numerology of the day. She also has an April special going on if you ordered a consultation with her. Now, Jane Alton is in the UK. She's the UK's #1 numerologist, but don't let that stop you from booking a session with her. She's very, very, very good. I mean, are you getting married? Are you have some kind of life change? A move? And why I say married is there's name change. And those that move, maybe the city that you're moving to, the city or the town. Everything has a vibration, a number and a vibration. It has a numeric and a sound type of vibration. So she taps into, if this name is going to be prosperous for you. And again, it could be the name of a town. It could be this. You want to name a business. You're starting a business. You want to name it. Ask her to check it out. I mean, definitely worthwhile. And she's running these specials. And this special is already listed in the True Psychics Network magazine. Take a look, because they say April specials, and it runs to the end of the month, all of April. So be sure to take advantage of a consultation with her. You will not regret it at all. She's very thorough, and you'll walk away going, wow. Wow. Yeah, she'll say, wow. No, you probably won't. I'm just being goofy today. Goofy energies. Oh, great. I got the Disney cast here, too. No. Oh, anyway. Oh, I know why they did. Yeah, okay. I'll share that with you in a few minutes. I'll share that to you. Share that with you, the Disney cast. We'll bring that back up again. You'll see why. All right. Be sure while you're on True Psychics Network website, check out the horoscopes. They're channeled this week by me. And my wonderful spirit guides and the spring colors. We use colors of the spring and just colors, and these are really good messages. I spent all day yesterday with it and took the time with it and was like, okay, here we go. People need these messages, and it was a lot of fun and being in that energy. It really was for a long time, but it's worth it. Also, on my website, whitesagewoman.com, if you go into my blog, and I just want to note here, if you had received my newsletters, I had closed that whole program software down. I really wasn't too impressed with it, so you're not going to be receiving any more e-letters, e-newsletters, or any of those types of things to the email anymore. So what I'm doing instead is just building up and working on my blog on my website. So if there's anything that you would like to read, you kind of miss, well, she used to send emails. Let me see what she's doing. Just go to my website, check it out. Check out the blog on my website as well. But on my blog, there is a post to nominate for me. Our local newspaper, which is called The Day, has a yearly award or kind of contest that goes on, and it's the 2015 Best of the Reader's Choice Award. And the details are on my blog. It shows you how to vote. The links are there. So if you could please just take some time, and if you don't mind casting a vote, nominate me in Goldylocks Temple of Healing in Groton, Connecticut. I greatly appreciate it. Okay, thank you so much. And those of you who have, I totally appreciate it. Thank you so much. And I'm very, very grateful. Just grateful, too, that we're all here together, whether you're watching the show live or recorded. So we're holding the space for everybody. Now, I also, every week, have crystal and gemstone messages and the spirit power animal messages. So we'll start with the crystal gemstone message. And the crystal that showed up today is cherry quartz. Cherry quartz. Very beautiful. Very beautiful coloring. It's a stone of relationship and focus. It enhances your intuition. So the thing with the cherry quartz, I want to be careful, is your intuition, your intention on the subject. It enhances your intention. So if you're in a bad mood, there are certain crystals and gemstones you don't want to touch because it'll just amplify. All right. So if this enhances whatever ill intentions you have, it's probably best not to touch the cherry quartz until you're in a much better mood. But it will work to your favor with intention, relationship, and focus. Okay, and it really enhances that focus and that intention. So let's use it what it's there for. All right, because there are some, when you need a pick me up or grounding, or if I feel like I'm upset for anything, I always go for the jaspers. I go for the crystals and gemstones that's going to ground me and make me feel better. All right, and when you ground, that takes care of depression and takes care of any other feelings that you're having. It really does. You'd be surprised. Those walking around here on this earth plane are either dehydrated and or ungrounded, or both. So we have to work on making sure that we are grounded and also staying hydrated, very much so. And so thank you, cherry quartz. That was a great message. Now, the spirit power animal that showed up, and I was waiting for this all winter, never shows up. Springtime, snowy owl. Snowy owl. Ah! Because it doesn't matter. Snow on the mountains any time of the year, right? So the snowy owl shows up, and gives and reminds us about the characteristics the snowy owl has. Reminds us what we can tap into these type of energies, such as silence and swift movements. Because we need to do that, and the energies really do support that today. Keen sight. You're focused on what you want. You focus on that goal. Let's move to it swiftly, right? And silently. And the snowy owl is a messenger of spirits and omens, shape-shifting, and the link between the worlds of dark and light, which really is the same. It's in the same world, it's just different aspects of that world, right? But it's the link, it's the balancer, the snowy owl. Oh, absolutely beautiful. Love it. Thank you. So we had the snowy owl, and then we had this cherry quartz crystal and gemstone. So, wonderful energies. So the topic today that I wanted to discuss is PTSD. And most of you know, I think many people now know what PTSD means. Okay? And post-traumatic stress disorder. Thanks to the military, right? A lot of our veterans are coming back suffering this. But it's happened all through history. Most military. I mean, I think they've probably documented first cases. I'm not sure they even knew what they were dealing with until like after Vietnam. I know it was huge PTSD coming back. My uncle was one of those. So I thought this was really interesting. I saw this book. I even promoted it on Facebook, on my Facebook wall, when I found out about this book. And I got it. And I'm going to read it to you. We're going to have story time. It's a really short, it's a children's book. All right. It's Why is Dad So Mad? Okay. By Seth Castle. Why is Dad So Mad? It's a book about PTSD in military families. I really feel like it's for everyone, not just military families. And we're going to go into that a little bit more after I read this awesome book. It's interesting. He puts them into animals instead of people. And this is like, Disney, look, talking animals. And I can understand the reason why you want to do this is you could probably try to have characters that look like you or whatever, but he wants to reach out to everyone and not really pay attention to what color is this person's skin, you know, because unfortunately that happens sometimes. People connect with the presenter in the book, the characters in the book. So let's just go to animals because it's for everyone. And who doesn't love animals? Well, you know, should anyway. Anyway, all right. So this is a really good book, and I will read it to you. So it's little kids going up to the mom, the lioness. Dad's in the kitchen, having a bad day, right? Mom, why is Dad so mad all the time? He was mad at me today for playing too loud. He was mad at me this morning for whining. He was mad at me in the car for fighting with my sister. Dad was different when he came home from overseas. This is the mother now telling the daughter. While he was away, he had to do a lot of really hard, dangerous work. It made him different than he used to be. Which is true. We've seen this happen. Dad used to be very calm and would never get mad. But now he has trouble relaxing or being patient. Now he gets angry very fast. And I love this analogy here. Okay. It looks like Dad always has a fire inside his chest. Isn't that awesome? I love the way they illustrate this. When he gets mad, the flame grows and grows really, really quickly. And when he gets mad, it's like the fire is out of control in him. When Dad yells and is mad, it's not because he wants to make you feel sad. He would do anything not to be the way that he is. But the fire is part of who he is now. See, he looks in the mirror and sees that fire monster, right? Sure, all of us can relate to this in one way, shape, or form. Sometimes Dad can't sleep, or he has bad dreams. That makes him upset too. Sometimes Dad has a really hard time remembering things. This makes it hard for him to work, and hard for him to be a dad, and hard for him to be a husband. Sometimes Dad needs some time alone to let that fire go out or just clear his mind. Dad loves you more than anything in the world. Just because he gets mad easily doesn't mean he doesn't care about your feelings. Think about the times when Dad wrestles with you. How about when Dad takes care of you when you were sick? And think of all the fun things you and your dad do together. Dad and Mom sometimes fight a lot now. I'm glad they're addressing this because the kids know it, hear it, feel it. But we still love each other. Since we are a military family, we are different than other families. Yes and no. Sometimes Dad is gone a lot, and that is something that is hard for us all. We all get upset sometimes when things aren't the way that we would like for them to be. Dad just has a really short fuse now and can't always be okay with the normal hiccups with life. You know that both Mom and Dad love you and each other more than anything. Sometimes life isn't perfect, but we are a family and we will stick together and love each other forever. Isn't that beautiful? If you know anybody who could benefit from this children's book, then just go to... I found this on Amazon. All right, Why is Dad So Mad? You can just Google the title. It is, again, by Seth Castle with a K. And you can go to Castle Books, www.kastlebooks.com. Right to his website. I'm going to read his bio. I have a little picture of him here, too. I'm not going to read his complete bio because they say where he lives, and I don't like to give that type of information out for our military. Even if he is retired, I don't like to give anybody's information out like that. But Seth Castle is the author of the children's book, Why is Dad So Mad? And the upcoming book, Why is Mom So Mad? Both of these books are written in order to assist military families who are struggling with PTSD. I actually believe they are for everyone. Now, tell you why. Yes, the military has a really hard time with the PTSD. All the warriors have, not only in this life but in past lives as well. And so this is why I feel it's something important to talk about, because every one of us has experienced PTSD. Think about it. Post-traumatic stress disorder. Have you ever had a traumatic experience? Some people think birth is traumatic. All right. So I actually have, there's a PTSD test that I give those that come over here. They have to fill out just a little bit of paperwork so I can get to know them before any type of healing session. And I also, just for I don't say fun, but just to show that almost everybody does, to one degree or another, suffer from PTSD. So I have this test. There's 22 questions. And if you would like to keep track of how many yeses and how many nos, you can do that. All right, so I'll give you a moment to, if you would just want to get a scrap piece of paper and a pen, and we're going to go through this together out loud. All right, and you're going to answer it, and the questions you're just going to write. You could just write Y or N. You know, Y for yes, N for no. So here we go, and it's just to help determine if you have the symptoms of PTSD and whether you should seek a diagnosis or treatment, all right, from a qualified doctor or a mental health professional. There's many now qualified holistic professionals, and I'm not knocking anyone else. I think you should have a strong team around you, a holistic team, so that you can heal your mind, body, and soul. All right? All right, so here's the first question. Are we ready? Have you experienced or been exposed to a traumatic event? Yes or no? Number 2, during the traumatic event, did you experience or witness serious injury or death, or the threat of injury or death? So answer that one. Number 3, during the traumatic event, did you feel intense fear, helplessness, and or horror? And also know this, what's traumatic to you may not be traumatic to somebody else. What's traumatic to someone else may not be traumatic to you. Oh, wow, that's all. That person's overreacting. No, they're handling it the best way they can process it. And the same with you. We all process what's happening to us, around us, whatever. We all process it different, don't we? So we need to have that compassion and that understanding with others as well. Okay? All right, so I think we're at number 4. Number 4. Do you regularly experience intrusive thoughts or images about the traumatic event? Does it replay in your mind? Okay, does it replay in your mind? Do you see the pictures? Does it replay? All right, number 5. Do you sometimes feel like you are reliving the event, or that it is happening all over again? With the memory, do you feel like you are reliving it? Number 6, do you have recurrent nightmares or distressing dreams about the traumatic event? Now, most of us too, and I'm going to just jump in here too with the dreams of past lives, we can remember how we died in past lives. We can remember trauma even from a past life. And these are considered nightmares. And this life too. So let's just pile it all on. All right. Number 7. Do you feel intense distress when someone reminds you of the traumatic event, whether it's something you think about or something in you or something in what you see? Do you feel I'll repeat that. Do you feel intense distress when something reminds you of the traumatic event, whether it's something you think about or something you see? Number 8, do you try to avoid thoughts, feelings, or conversations that remind you of the traumatic event? Do you find that maybe some antisocial or just if there's any hint of it reminds you of something that you've already gone through, do you avoid it like the plague? Number 9, do you try to avoid these activities, people, and places that remind you of the traumatic event? So there you go. So not only do avoid, number 8 is avoiding the thoughts and feelings in conversations with yourself, the dialogue. Number 9 is actually avoiding these activities and people and places that remind you of the trauma. Number 10, are you unable to remember something important about the traumatic event? Most people have black spots. They can't remember a certain part. Number 11, since the trauma took place, do you feel less interested in activities or hobbies that you once enjoyed? 12, since the trauma took place, do you feel distant from other people or have difficulty trusting them? 13, since the trauma took place, do you have difficulty experiencing or showing emotions? 14, do you feel that the future will not be normal? That you won't have a career, a marriage, children, or a normal life? Whatever normal is. Since the traumatic event, have you had difficulty falling or staying asleep? 16. Have you felt irritable or have you had outbursts of anger? 17. Have you had difficulty concentrating since the trauma? 18. Do you feel guilty because others may have died or were hurt during the traumatic event, but you survived? 19. Do you often feel jumpy or startle easily? 20. Do you often feel hyper vigilant? That is, that you are constantly feeling and acting ready for any kind of threat. Yes, that is type of PTSD. 21. Have you been experiencing symptoms for more than 1 month? 22. Do your symptoms interfere with normal routines, work or school or social activities? All right. Now, out of all these 22 questions, count your yeses. If you have 1 to 3 yeses, you have very few symptoms of PTSD. If you have 4 to 9, it's very likely, it's very high. If you have more than 10, you display many symptoms of PTSD. I'm curious to know how many had over 10. I did when I took this. And this was years ago when I took it, and then working on myself, and I've been able to be able to command that fire monster, so to speak. All right. So and this is nothing to joke at, okay? The symptoms of PTSD can be extremely distressing. Treatments for PTSD is available, and I do provide copies for those that score really high. I give the copies for them, the clients that come, and they have it they want to take it to their doctor or their therapist. This is not a diagnosis. Please remember that. Only a doctor or qualified mental health professional can make a diagnosis of PTSD and recommended treatments. All right. I have to say the little disclaimer there. But what's interesting is that many of us do have it. And it's something that we've brought in from past lives with us, especially those of us who keep coming back and coming back and coming back. And you may think, why? Why do we do that? It's because we have such high hopes and so much love for humanity that we want humanity to get it right. And even by us getting it right, humanity will get it right. Do you understand that? Is that we have, when we get ourselves right and we're helping others and they get themselves right, it's like a domino effect. It really does happen. It does. Just think about how fast, believe it or not, war had happened. You don't trust somebody, it catches on. Oh, well, I'm not going to trust you either. And then they become hyper vigilant. No, it's not just a show about rednecks. It is true. It is part of PTSD. I want to share with you a little bit now, because since I've been young and have been able to recall or have very vivid dreams and to be able to talk to my guides, and there was a time where I could see for everybody else, but I couldn't see for me in my past lives. I couldn't get out of this life because there was a lot about my childhood that I had questioned, and I couldn't get out. I had paid a lot of money. This was years ago. This is over 10 years ago, with a traveling hypnosis group. So I went and paid some good money for this hour session, and I was really upset. First off, I realized I couldn't be hypnotized. There was no way. I had a heck of a time calming down. I started having anxiety and panic attacks. I couldn't understand. I meditated. What's going on? Why am I having all of this? But it was laying down, the whole process. She started to go through. She was talking. No. It was not going anywhere. I was literally inside crying. I was in tears, calling my guides and loved ones. I was like, what's going on? Why can't I do this? Am I hurting myself? Am I doing this to me? It wouldn't surprise me if I'm my worst enemy. And I'm like, I'm just not getting anything. I'm not doing anything. Nothing. And I was like, please help me. I don't want to block myself. And my dad, I call him my bonus dad because I had two dads. This is the dad that raised me. Him and my mom got married when I was 8, and so he dealt with me in my teenage years. He dealt with me. Yeah. And he stayed. So my bonus dad, he had been crossed over for like a year at that time. So he shows up, and here I'm just like, oh my gosh, that was my dad. Ah. So I'm bawling inside. Terribly, terribly. I'm like, why can't I get outside this life? And he's like, because you have too many questions about your past. You want to know too much. I wanted to know specifically what happened, why my mom and biological dad got divorced. I knew it wasn't me, but that I was confused because my mother had a story, my biological dad had a story, my uncle had a story, and none of them matched. And I'm like, what? I felt like I didn't know who I was because I didn't know my past. And he helped me to understand, going that you're so much more than your past. That's not who you are right now. He goes, so what? You have these black spots where you don't remember. Let it go. He goes, let these questions go. It's not who you are now. It doesn't even matter. And he was right. And it was in that conversation with my dad that really helped me. He was like, you just keep working on this, everything will come. He was like, you are not in an environment right here, right now, where you even want to open up to this lady. You don't know her. And you won't open up. And I was like, yeah, you're right. And then I was really, really pleased and grateful because he showed me. He was like, oh, because she was doing that whole thing again, because she could tell I was probably having a hard time. And she was like, okay, go back to this map, look at the world map. Where are you now? And I'm look at this map, and I'm looking at my dad, and I'm like, really? Where am I? I don't know. Where in the world am I, Dad? And he's laughing. So at this point, my dad actually goes up and he points to China. And I was like, okay. It's like, yeah, and then he just went like this with his hand, and he did the Jedi move. he did this Jedi, he did this, and I saw this scene play out. My dad and I, my bonus dad and I, were both young boys. We were best friends in China, and we were in. I actually had to describe it. I figured out that they were rice fields, but it wasn't a dry field. Oh, my hair is like going crazy. It wasn't a dry field. It was there was some water in it, and so it was I had to research it, but I found exactly online. Oh, that's it. That's where we were. And so then it made perfect sense because he felt like such a spiritual teacher to me, my bonus dad, and I felt so blessed to have him in my life. And there was times when I did feel like he was my buddy. And so I understand where that comes from for the males. And he helped me because he knew I was a male in a past life and that I had a hard time being a female in this life. And he helped me with all of that. And ever since then, I had more success. And bam, everything started to open up as soon as I allowed it to. And in my dreams, I was able to remember my past lives coming. And then some of the memories, I knew I was angry. I was an angry little girl. And do you know that when my mom tried to take me to a psychiatrist, all they would do is look at this life, of course. Oh, you're angry because your mom and dad got divorced. You're angry because you have abandonment issues. You're angry. Yes, that's not all of it. I came into this life with anger. But I knew I couldn't open my mouth and say things. Mom made me promise. Please don't challenge these people who are trying to help you. And I'm like, but it doesn't make any sense. It's making it worse. But I would keep my mom quiet. But then it all unfolds. I get it. I understand. Because when I was young, I was very angry that I was a girl, that I was a weak female. The lives that I did have as a female, I didn't live very long. So I associated that with being weak, right? And the color of my skin. I was upset because my skin was so white. So I was like, oh, not only am I female, my skin is so white. Look at how white my skin is. So I told my mom why I was angry. And she couldn't. Oh, Mom. We laugh now. My mom's on the other side, too. So, she's just like, wow. She just couldn't get me. She didn't understand. And I would try to tell her, and she was like, what? But yet I acted. My bonus daddy, he has 4 kids from a first marriage, and then my brother and I. All right? And of the 4 kids, three daughters and 1 son. Though one son's a little bit older than me, but he was always at work. You know who helped my dad move an empty oil tank around the yard? Not my little brother. Me. I was such the tomboy. I was always helping my dad with all these physical labors and chores around the house. And it was me. I cut the grass. My younger brother didn't do it. He was Mama's baby. But my dad would always laugh, going, I swear you two are reversed. Because I would get Barbies for Christmas and wouldn't play with them, and my brother would. And I would play with his He-Mans and Star Wars figures. And cars and trucks. And my dad was like, there's something really wrong. But my dad was such a macho country boy hunter, that type of guy. But he really laughed and had a great sense about it because his spirituality came through. All right? Again, just who we are in this life is not not really our soul signature, so to speak. It's just part of who we are, this huge, gigantic picture, huge book, however you want to read it. So, yes, I did have some issues, mommy and daddy issues, but I also came in with some issues too. And most of us do. We come in with this baggage and this luggage. And so, I suggest you find a really good hypnotherapist. I know one. It's on True Psychics Network. She's new to the network. Her name is Jane. not Jane. Her name is Jan. Jan! Oh my gosh, I knew it was gonna. Names just elude me. I'm gonna call everybody a sound or sing their name. Sing their name. Anyway, you will find Jan on True Psychics Network website. Just click on the carousel with all the members. You will find her. She's the newest member in, so she's like probably the last one. But that's okay. Doesn't mean that she's not the last, because it's a circle. There's no first or last. But scroll through till you see Jan and click onto her page. Now, she's not just what I call a hypnotherapist. She deals with alchemy. All right? The alchemist. Alchemy hypnotherapist. She really gets to the core of it. Yes, I've told people about their past lives, and psychic mediums can tell them about their past lives. They're, to me, they're more meaningful in a healing session when it comes out, because I see the pictures playing for them. I see that they are actually seeing it, observing only, never reliving. All right, and that's cool too. Sometimes though, you need more sessions. You need to go deeper, and this is why I absolutely suggest Jan. And she doesn't have to be in the same area as you. She does a lot, like we do now with technology. Yay, with Skype and even on the phone. She doesn't need to look at you. She just talked to me on the phone. So you can talk to her on the phone as well, and she can, because you're going to have your eyes closed anyway. All right. She's very deep, very thorough. She can help you with so many things. Past lives. She can help you with stopping to smoke, weight management, weight loss, anything like that. You can just check her page out on True Psychics Network. You'll see what I'm talking about, her specialties, and you can contact her, email her, call her, set up a session with her. You will not regret it. Now, when I talked about not everybody can be hypnotized, I'm going to tell you why. Me specifically. And because I was a male warrior, and I know in several of my lives I was tortured. And it's I won't allow. I channel now the guides. I wouldn't ever authorize or permit a whole trance mediumship. And that means me stepping out of my body and letting a guide or spirit come into my body to communicate, use my vocal cords. No, I don't want that. I don't ever want that. That's me. All right? Channel, they're so close I can repeat, you know. They give it to me in my mind, you know, of course the third eye, and I just repeat it. And I can hear them when a lot of them come around and they start talking. It's just like a group of people around you. All right. So that's what I allow. That's what I give permission to. And I'm comfortable with that. All right. So no, I was never comfortable with it. I mean, I can tell you what kind of crazy things, Tiffany. All right. I did have a hard time with sleep. I was always scared I was going to get killed in my sleep. Then I would have these nightmares of being stabbed in my sleep. Ah, yeah. Well, you know, when life was hard, no matter what, for any of us in past lives, medieval times, beyond, you know, beyond, I want to say civilization, because are we really civilized? But life was really hard for us, for everybody, man, woman, child. All right. And so you can just read our history books and see how brutal and cruel we were to each other. All right. So I would actually want to sleep. I felt the best by sitting up or at an incline. My back is protected. You know, I didn't want to lay on my side or expose my back. You know, if I was leaning up like this, and when I actually had to study a lot of like the Art of War book, and a lot of warrior tactics and techniques and with history to understand myself. And I totally could, oh yeah, this is how I slept. This is how I did this. Oh, I get it. I understand. wow, I didn't know that. But it helps you to understand you. It helped me to understand what I was seeing in these visions, all right, of what I was getting. What does this mean? And so when you get this too, and this is why I always encourage people to journal and to keep a dream journal, and you write it down. You don't have to understand what it means. Ask your guides to help you with the research, and they always do, and it does come to you. I remember being in bookstores and just going to one particular book, pulling it off the shelf, turning it to a page, and just reading a passage or seeing a picture. And it's like, whatever gets you to that aha moment, right? And now I get it. A little bit more, a little bit more. And that what seems like for most of us is that as we are getting on, and I don't want to say older, but we are discovering more and more about ourselves. It's like we spend the first 10 years being brainwashed on who we think we are. We think we know who we are. But then the next 10 years, like, from 10 to 20, our teenage years, we're confused because we know how we feel, but we know how we don't want that people are telling us how to be either. And it seems like we get even more confused. So it's like it takes us all this time we come into bright lights. Okay, we're trying to get through this world, Oh my gosh, I don't know who I am anymore. What's my identity? Who am I? And then it's like, come back around full circle. Let's find out who we are and get back to where we were as a child. All right. That close to God feeling, that being right there and the knowing and understanding. And then we realize that all of this really doesn't matter. I mean, it matters as far as our experience, and this is what we're here to learn. But we take ourselves way too serious, don't we? And we need to see, look, now Gracie's having a bad dream. Gracie! It's okay, honey. It's okay, Gracie. Didn't you ever notice that rescue dogs? She, both my females are rescue dogs, and even though we rescued our oldest female, Foxy, is 14 years old. We rescued her when she was 6 months old. To this day, she still has bad dreams. No matter how much healing, no matter how much, they're there. The trauma is there. All right? We can heal it. We can become comfortable with it, but it's never removed. Know that. We just have to be friends and make peace with it. All right, but it's never removed. And because it's a part of who we are, good, bad, or ugly, but we can change that label as far as, yes, there was some trauma here, and I planted a garden there, and now there's flowers. There's a lotus that blossoms right there. Okay, and then it's just like, yes, I survived. It becomes like badges of honor, doesn't it? I survived! And I'm gonna keep on surviving! And that's what's great, is when you learn these past lives and go, wow. Well, I understand now. It helps you to understand who you are a little bit. Now, the drive maybe, why you like specific things and you don't like other things. And I tell people you can actually get to it yourself. Always work with your guides. You can get to remembering some of your past lives. And even if it's just you take a whole composition notebook and you're going to use it. And you start writing down, take one page, write down the middle, draw a line, likes, dislikes for everything. Believe it or not, a certain color can trigger something off for you. A certain food. All right? What certain places around the world do you never want to visit? But you haven't visited there in this life. I haven't visited France in this life, but I know I absolutely don't want to go there. I did not have a good memory there in the past. This is what I'm saying. You start to remember certain animals that scare you or terrify you. Maybe some were attacked by animals. These are great tools to use. But as long as you can get excited about the learning more about yourself, the whole alchemy of it, as Jan says, you get excited about it. If you hurt too bad to try to go through this, then this is where you're going to need that specialist to step in. And it's if you are suffering from PTSD, all right, and you feel you need a whole support group around you, absolutely, that's supported. I just would like for you to consider, other than a medical, a holistic professional practitioner. Have several, all right, and with your whole team, it can help you. And it really does take a village, doesn't it? Take a village to help one another. And we're here to help each other as well. And this is where we grow and develop more with us, ourselves. So, whew. Okay. Thank you. Now let's see what time it is. My guides are like, okay. They started to back up a little bit. We're done. I was like, you're done? Is it time? Oh, it is. I'm in La La Land. But anyway, it's really fun when you find out. Once you observe only, don't relive any of the pain. It's fun to learn about who you were in past lives, and and what you're here for in this life. And even if you remember not being a really nice person, it's okay. We balance the scales out. If you're doing good in this life now, it's okay. And most of you are, if you're watching spiritual videos like this, right? You are balancing the scales again. So don't be upset, because I did have a couple of visions that were like, I did that! Naughty. Don't beat yourself up. All right? We definitely held ourselves accountable, because I've corrected it in this lifetime just by being the love and light. Allowing yourself to be the love and light is how you rebalance it, okay? And you don't even have to know what you've done. All right? It's okay. You don't have to know. You'll find out when you cross over. The whole life flashed before your eyes. All right. And we're talking really the whole life. It's your earth chapter. But we are never ending. We're always alive. We're always going on. There's just different chapters. All right. But we never die. We transform and evolve. Go through this metamorphosis or transitions or resurrection. All right. We go through this a lot. We really do. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in today. And if there's any topics or discussions that you would like to have discussed, please email me. Let me know. Message me. And thank you so much. I've got a lot of viewers that's been emailing me lately and having great conversation with them. And then, hey, can you talk about this? And I'll be happy to answer any questions you have on anything that you do hear during the show. Just repeat back to me, because sometimes when I channel, I don't remember everything that I say. So sometimes I have to go back and watch the show. People say, oh, like when you said this. I'm like, I have no idea. Because you're just opening up and allowing the message to come through. It's not about me. It's for everyone else. All right? But if it helps you. And this is why all our stories are important, because not that we're going to repeat it exactly the same, but that there is a common thread in all of us on what we experience. Yes, we may react or respond differently, but we all understand and we all get it. So thank you so much for taking time out of your day and spending time in sacred space with me and with everyone else. Thank you all so very much. Many blessings to each of you, and I will be back next Tuesday 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Many blessings, everyone. Namaste.